I have to admit guys, this has to be one of the most unique design when it comes to frame. I don't think there is anything on the market that look close to this frame. And of course, this is the AOS 5 frame designed by Chris Crosser. And if you don't know who it is, just I'm gonna put a link in the description section of this video so you can figure out what exactly Chris Crosser does or do. But enough of that. I'm gonna show you how to pull this frame together, and this is gonna be the frame I'm gonna be using on my next project. Thank you for watching guys, and I hope that you enjoyed. This is pretty much everything you get in the package, and I'm saying package because this thing to be a $70 frame does come in a simple regular plastic bag. You have everything in here that you need to put your frame together. The one thing that's missing is you don't get a battery strap or a battery pad from the manufacturer, which is very strange because I have bought cheaper frame than this one and they do come with a battery strap and a battery pad. But enough of that. Let me go over everything you get. You get of course your bottom plate, you get your top plate, you have a sandwich plate or a middle plate, you get the side plates for your camera, you have this small little piece of carbon, and I'm going to show you where this goes. And you also have those small carbon fiber ring, and I'm also going to show you where this goes when we put the frame together. As far as hardware goes, you get your standoff. Those are 15mm. You have a set of flat edge screws, and those are 16mm. You get another set of flat edge screws, and those ones are 6mm. You also have a set of screws for your motor. Those are socket edge screws, and they are 11mm. And of course, the biggest part, of course, is that you are getting those arms, and those are triangle arms. It's they're pretty unique in design. I think those are this is the only frame that use this type of arm, and those are 6mm thick. The longer portion is 6mm thick by 6, and the shorter portion is 6mm thick, and starting from here it is 8mm, and if you go down it tapers down back to 6mm. However, we're going to start with our bottom plate, which by the way it is 2.5mm thick, and we're going to be using the 16mm flat screw head. You're going to need 8 of them, and once you put them on the frame, make sure they are completely flush with the bottom plates. They do provide you with enough screw for your build. They actually give you a couple extra, so they are all in here. Of course, the screw head side go on the bottom of the frame. Look at that, it worked perfectly. Now we're just gonna add our arms. They can only go one way, so there is no way for you to mess it up. Let me go ahead and align the screws. So we have our arm in place, and as I said earlier, there's really no way to mess this part off because all the arm only go one way. At this point, what we gonna need to do is add this little plate in the back of the frame. By the way guys, this is the back and this is the front. We're gonna get a middle plate, and that'll go straight in the middle. Now the cool thing about this frame is the carbon fiber they use is a good quality, and the cut of the frame is very precise, and that is where a little carbon fiber ring gonna go in the front. As I said, the cut is very precise, so everything pretty much go in that bottom. So now we're gonna add a standoff. I'm gonna put them on pretty loosely, and that's just to keep the frame kind of hold together. There we go. And at this point we are about halfway done with the frame build. Only thing I left to do is add the side plate for the camera, and they go right in here. Gonna put it a little bit on the angle and just squeeze down. There we go. Let me do the other side. Angle and squeeze down. Yeah, make sure the weight is sitting in there, and that looks pretty good. You should not have no gap between the camera mount side plate and the frame. You can see I got a little gap in there, so just gonna press down. There we go. There we go. That's how it should look like. No gap between the side plate and the bottom plates. This other one is not really in there yet, so you just gotta squeeze on it. The only thing left is adding the top plates, and same way with the bottom plate. We're gonna be using the 6mm flathead screws. The screw go on. They're very easy frame to put together. Maybe one of the easiest frame I ever put together. It is a 5-inch frame. The designer of this frame is Chris Corser. And of course, the whole idea beyond this frame is to make the frame very resistant to vibration, oscillation, and resonance. The frame itself feels pretty rigid, and I don't have my screw very tight. They're actually pretty loose right now, but as you can see, there is really no flex on this frame, which is actually pretty interesting, because I always thought that the more rigid the frame is, the more likely it is to be victim to vibration, resonance, and oscillation. But this frame is pretty rigid. Another thing I like about this frame is that it does give you plenty of room for your electronics. You do have two places to put your electronics. You can either put them in the front or in the back, and it does come already with holes for 30x30 and 20x30 stack on both front and back. And there is so much room. I'm just going to show you how much room you have here for your electronics. I'm going to be using one of my dead air units. You can see with the top still on, I can actually put the air unit inside the frame, and this is in the back. Plenty of space, and I can actually do the same with the front, I believe, if I just get it in a right angle. There we go. So plenty of space in the front, so you do have the choice how you're gonna set up your electronics. You can either put it in the back or in the front, so space is not an issue with the frame. The one thing you may have an issue with is the camera mounts. They are set up for the regular DJI camera, so you may need to use some spacer if you're going to be using a different camera than the DJI camera, because the DJI camera, the original one, is actually a little thicker than most camera on the market. And you do have some devil horn for your motors, and those will take both 19x19 motors whole or 16x16 motors. So you have a wide variety of motor you can use on this frame. I'm not sure how good it's gonna fly. I haven't finished building it yet, but this is gonna be my next build. So just stay tuned on the channel, and you should see me putting this build all together, and we'll see how good it flies.